And in this segment, Brian Hammond, the head softball coach at Plymouth High School, joins me. You got to be a little bit frustrated. You had all kinds of stuff. Last week was supposed to be your opening week, wasn't it?
Yeah, we were supposed to play Riley on Wednesday, and 6 inches of rain or whatever we got in 4 days is we're bored. We're ready to play again. So yeah, we're hoping. Well, no, actually, we were supposed to play Riley this week. Yeah, this
Yeah,
week.
I
Yeah.
think
So
so.
yeah,
That's a home game too, right?
yeah, and it got moved to the 23rd.
Oh man, your scrimmage got washed out too, didn't it?
No, we moved the scrimmage to a Thursday, the
Oh,
day after it was scheduled. So we did get the scrimmage in. So we were able to figure a few things out, and so yeah.
break that down for me. I mean, what are you looking for when you go into a scrimmage? It's just controlled situations, correct?
Yeah, so we can kind of do in the third and fourth inning whatever we want. We can start with a runner on second if we want. We can we can put players wherever we want, and kind of you have to bunt at least twice an inning, and it has to be different girls each inning. So yeah, when we're in there, we're just looking to figure out how we're going to create offense. How our defense is going to move around and see troubled areas. The whole idea is our pitchers don't want to walk anybody. We want to put, we want them to hit the ball, put it in play, force defense to make plays. So it's really nice to help identify things. But yeah, I want to see how my girls are going to do off of live pitching. We do get to do that in practice some, but not in game situations. So yeah, it's nice to see some game like stuff happen.
Well, it has to be good for your hitters to see pitching that isn't. I mean, even if you are going live with your pitchers, it's still you see them every day. It's a different
Yeah.
pitcher and who's actually trying to get you out.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. So it was nice to see. We had a couple girls. Take some into some 3-2 counts and work it and foul balls off, get bunts down. We had some nice surprise hits. So that was it was good to see. Yeah, it was good to just basically have some sort of game because when you go 4 weeks in a row with practice, practice, practice,
Yeah.
you tend to get a little bored.
Well, break it down a little bit for us. I mean, what were the really good things you saw? What were you pleased with?
So in the second inning of that scrimmage, the lineup that we put out produced some runs, like right off the bat. We're trying to identify, who's going to make best contact. So, Ivy let us off with a base hit, and we were able to bunt her over, and then they chucked it away, and then, Gracie Patrick came up and hit a couple girls in, and just getting the ball in play. Like Chloe Horton struggled at the plate last year, and she got a couple of hits. It was nice to see our defense make some fly ball catches in the outfield. That's kind of where we're putting a lot of pressure on, because we graduated Bussy. So, we got to fill some big shoes out there. Gracie Cryer graduated last year, and she was our anchor and left. So, we have shoes to fill out there. So them hitting the ball to the outfield helped us figure out, hey, okay, we got to work cuts. We're going to have to work on this. We're going to have to get some situations going in practice. So it was good to see us make some mistakes to help us identify things. So I told them going into it, like, play hard. Like, we want mistakes to happen. So
Yeah.
we did go out and make mistakes, and most people would be like, you don't want to see that, but we really did want to see mistakes. So it was good to see mistakes happen.
Well, I was going to say you got to know what you need to work on. I mean, and you're not getting a loss if you don't win. So it's a
Right,
win-win all the way around.
Yeah. They don't keep score. The only thing they're allowed to have on the scoreboard are like balls and strikes and outs. So yeah, it was good for us.
So what did you see that you didn't like? What's been the coaching points for this week?
I mean, I honestly, I didn't look at my team and be like, ooh, well, we're in trouble here or there. I saw what I saw was girls that were coachable. I didn't take anything negative away. We got to identify what we need to work on. We got to identify where we might need to move girls around. And yeah, I don't think that was like anything like really bad, right? Like, I was like, we're in trouble here. I mean, we have the two pitchers now, so it was nice to see them strike a couple girls out, not walk anybody, get us ground balls, get us some fly balls. So, yeah, I didn't bad. I wouldn't consider it bad. I mean, if we made mistakes, to me, that's good. So, nothing bad for me.
And I was going to say you're still a relatively young team. You got to feel like a lot of the problems you might have are going to be solved just through reps.
Yeah, exactly. It's just I've been saying it all along. I told the girls on Monday. You could tell we were kind of getting into the lull of like we need to play a game, and like like last year I didn't feel like when we got into that first game that we were necessarily prepared for it. And that was me being new, us all getting our footing under us. But this year we're like ready to go, and I told them on Monday like we got to control what we can control. We can't control the weather. Or we can't control, people canceling on us or whatever it is. And I told them that, it's going to be a bumpy road. We got to trust the process. We got to trust our teammates. We got to trust the coaching staff to have us ready and all those kind of things. Like we're going to make mistakes. It's going to be a bumpy ride. But if we can navigate those bumps and bruises and whatever, then the end of the season, we're going to be right where we need to be. So that's kind of what we've been harping on, like stop talking about the goal and start talking about the process to achieve the goal, and then things will happen that we want to happen.
Talk about how you feel about where you're at. You've had a chance. I mean, not in a real game per se, but you've seen competition other than your own folks. How do you feel about where you're at overall?
Um, yeah, it's hard to gauge off the one scrimmage. I mean, I got out to a couple games to watch some teams we're going to see, and I actually feel really good about where we're at. I think we're going to be in the mix for a lot of our games. I don't think we shouldn't. I don't think we're going to go out there and get blown off the diamond by anybody. Been watching scores and been seeing improvements in practice, and I know we lost Liz Deerfield last year, and boy, her and Lily Runyon could turn a double play. Like they were very smooth in practice. And today I saw one of the best double turns I've ever seen with Lily and Chloe Horton. And I mean, when I see stuff like that, I'm like, this is going to be way better than we expected this year. And I don't know that there's other teams out there because they haven't got to see us yet. I think we're going to surprise some people because I don't think they're going to realize that we're going to be as competitive as we will be. So I just keep seeing every day us getting better. And the girls that we've been putting in the outfield, they're plugging along, they're getting better. They're learning the angles, they're getting under the balls, and now it's just securing it. So like we're right on track. I think we're going to turn some heads even early on in the season.
I got to feel like you feel pretty good because losing Liz, she was that had to be in your head. Like, how are we going to replace her? If Chloe can step in there, that becomes huge for you guys.
Yeah, it was by chance. Last year we didn't have a JV, but we did have like 5 or 6 girls, and we were able to get a couple of times where we got some JV innings after the varsity games, and we did stick Chloe at shortstop. And now JV is not the same as
Right.
varsity, but what we did get to see was the attitude and the effort at which she played the position, and the I'm getting this ball no matter what type of mentality. And I mean, I see her diving around getting dirty, and sure, I mean, we talked about early on, like we kept putting her there. We're like, are we even sure she's our shortstop? And she said to us as coaches, like, this is where I want to play. This is where I'm going to give the best effort. This is, and I said, well, that sounds good. I want your best effort wherever we put you. But every day she steps in that spot, she just gets better and better and better. And, she's coachable. She's athletic. She absorbs what we give her. If we say, this is what we want for your footwork for double play, she tries to do it. Like, her just being coachable and absorbing what we're telling her, you just see it every day. She gets better, she gets better, she gets better, she gets better. So yeah, I feel good that she's gonna have some rough starts, right? She's a sophomore. She didn't play varsity shortstop last year, but she has the athleticism and she has the coachability that I think by the end of the season we're gonna have something special there. So
You know as well as I do too, though, that giving them bites they can chew is really important. I mean, just throwing her out there against New Prairie or something is not helping anybody. Giving her places where she can be successful, that just breeds success in you.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, and then she did. She played 2 innings or actually, she played 1 inning at shortstop and 1 inning at third base, and she could play either spot. She's kind of fearless. Like she's not afraid. Like she's after everything. So just her moving to the infield. I mean, we kind of thought coming into the season that she might be our center fielder because she does have the outfield experience, and we're not even saying she might not play the outfield, but I mean, she probably will see the outfield at some point today. But she just she just seems more locked into to softball this year, and she's ready to roll. And yeah, I mean, she's somebody that we are expecting big things out of, and she's accepting the pressure of it, and she's stepping into those shoes nicely.
Sounds like you're at a point now where you're just trying to figure out who your role players are, who you're going to look at in specific situations to do specific things, and that's got to be a good position to be in as a coach.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we're having conversations that I thought we'd have halfway through the season conversations, but we're having them now because we're really getting down to the nitty gritty of like, okay, like we're starting to play chess with our players now. So, and that's a good feeling, like to know that we can shift some girls here around or there. I mean, we've realized that even though Ivy Stackhouse is lefty, she can play wherever you put her. Now, you may not have ever heard of a left-handed player at shortstop, but let me tell you, she can turn a double play as good as any of them. You know, it's just backwards footwork, but she's got it down, and it's crazy. Like, you know, at first I was like, no, we're not putting a left-hander at shortstop, like a third base. What are we talking about here? And we did it, and I was like, all right, I guess I can be wrong every once in a while. So, like, I mean, yeah, we could put her, Gracie Patrick, we could put Lexi Pike, Lily Runyon, Chloe. We could put any of those 5 girls pretty much anywhere on the field. And surprisingly enough, Kendall could come out from behind the plate, play center field too. She's got fly balls down. So we've got some. Well, that's why I say we get to start kind of playing chess. Like, okay, if we move here, then yeah, we could shift her over here, and yeah, it's a better situation than we thought we were going into. Like, we thought going into the season, this is going to be a rough one, and you know, by the grace of God himself, Ivy Stackhouse transferring has definitely transformed that. Chloe being super athletic, Lexi Pike, you know, it's, you know, Brenna LaFoon and Sienna Sellers are also like, they're just getting better every day. So it's fun. Like I said, I think we're going to surprise people at the beginning of the season.
I gotta think that Ivy coming in as much as anything is just that gives you so much more flexibility. Her ability to play so many places is going to let you do a lot of things with your lineup.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I think that when that happened, the excitement level from the other players, just like, oh my God, they were so happy to see her on day one. They're like, is this for real? And we're like, yeah, like the paperwork's getting done. And they were so happy, and like they just embraced her, and like it's given us a shot in the arm of this is going to be a good season. Like they're looking at it like we have this secret weapon that nobody knows about yet. But here I am talking about it on the radio. So I don't know if any NLC conference teams are tuning into this, but they better if they want to know. So,
Well, man, it sounds like things are going good. And you opened this week, am I right? When's your first game this week?
yeah, so the weather looks good. We're home versus Peru. Iffy on Thursday, on the road versus Rochester, and then home on Saturday. Looks like a rainy day Saturday for LaPorte at home, but hopefully the rain stays away in the morning. We get that one in.
That's a good bite for you guys, though, if you can get them in, though, because
Those
you
are traditionally good teams. So
Yeah.
like we didn't adjust our schedule just because we thought we were going to be this. Like I said it to Corbett when he's making the schedules. I don't want easy teams.
Right.
We want to be prepared for the sectional. We want to be prepared for NLC. Like I told the girls Monday, and when we had that big talk, I said, girls, I'm looking at the season like we got 26 chances to get it right for sectionals.
Yeah.
Like that's what matters, right? Like you 26 chances to be like, there's our lineup. So if we figure it out in 10, great. If we figure it out in 5, even better. If we figure it out in 20, we're still ready to go. So as long as we figure it out in 26, in the 26 games we play, like everybody's 0-0 going into sectionals. It doesn't matter what your record is. They might Bishop Lures won out of Fort Wayne won a state championship with like 3-5 or 3-7 in football or whatever. Like nobody cares. I won a state championship.
Yeah, all they cares about is did you win the last game?
That's hey, you know, I know you know Michael Brown, and that's you know him and I are best friends, and that's you don't win the last game of the season.
Yeah.
That's kind of funny. So yeah.
Yeah, well, that's what I used to tell our guys. What are we setting goals for? The goal should be to win every game. That's why you come out here. So that should be your goal. Let's win every one we play.
Yeah, and the last game of the season, we win that one, we're holding the trophy.
Then you're there. So,
Yeah.
well, man, I appreciate you taking the time again this week. We're going to run into each other a couple of times, 3 or 4 times during the course of the year, and I'll probably be bugging you other times other than that. So, good luck to
I
you.
look forward to it.
Good luck to you as you go
All
down
right.
this week, and we'll be in touch.
All right. Sounds good.
That is Brian Hammond, the head coach at Plymouth. Stay right there. Brad Heck, the head tennis coach at Plymouth, joins me here. I had to talk you into doing this. I know you haven't had a whole lot of time. I mean, the weather has not been tennis weather.
No, it's been about as worst the worst weather I can remember for tennis, especially the first couple weeks. So it's been a joy.
Well, I can't even imagine. I mean, I've watched you guys over the years. You figure out ways to get stuff done, but it's not like, I mean, even baseball. You can set up a cage and hit. You can throw up some mounds and get some distance and throw. But I mean, how much can you do when you're inside?
Yeah, we get pretty creative with what we do, and we obviously mix in some conditioning with that as well, which I know the girls love. But we do a good job of trying to utilize whatever space we have available to us, and get in groups and rotate. And some people are doing conditioning, or you're mixing in conditioning with coming through and hitting a shot or something. But I feel like we do a pretty good job of just utilizing the space and the time that we have, and still working on a lot of specific, strokes and shots and things in there. Obviously, you can't really play out points or anything like that, but you're limited on those kind of things and strategies and things. But we also try to mix in kind of some team bonding kind of things and whatnot to kind of not make it so long and boring, I guess. But I think we've been pretty good and creative so far, and I feel like we've gotten a lot accomplished inside, even though we've been inside so much. We've gotten a lot accomplished, and girls are improving a lot so far. So that's been fun to see.
Got to feel like, this isn't your first rodeo. So, it's not like it's something new to you. You've been doing this for a while. I mean, over the years, I'm sure you come up with some good ideas.
Yeah. We, like I said, we get creative and kind of try to make some competitions within it and try to hit certain targets or things like that for, try to have a high standard as far as the targets we're hitting or the shots we're hitting or whatever, and try to compete within that, even if it's a conditioning kind of thing, just compete within that and try to mix in some fun. I know I told them, I said, it's not as fun as, being outside. It's not as fun as playing matches and stuff, but this is just kind of part of it that we got to deal with, and we got to utilize the opportunities that we have to get better, and regardless of where they are.
How much are you able to do in the off season? Probably not a whole lot. I'm like, some of the other sports, they get together once or twice a week or whatever. I mean, do you try to do that, or do you just kind of love, because I know a lot of your girls are multi-sport athletes too.
Yeah, we've actually had probably less percentage wise be multi-sport with the girls the last couple years than previously, but we have our limited contact periods and things, and I know like other sports at Plymouth utilize those much more than we do. So I mean, it's just always generally better to go to a facility indoors and play, if the kids can get there or whatever, just try to encourage them to do that or play in tournaments and things. And we have a few that have done some of those kind of things. And historically usually have 1 or 2 a year or whatever that kind of go and do that. But that's kind of the majority of what I do. I mean, we have some conditioning where we do conditioning for a couple weeks, and it's kind of during that limited contact period. So we can do some hitting and things through that couple weeks leading up to the season. So that's good. And which we didn't have, 10 years ago or whatever, we couldn't do anything. So it's been kind of nice as far as, working into starting practices kind of full steam when we start. But I try to just promote them doing their own thing, and it's better for all of us. And to be honest, I like a little bit of a break sometimes too. So between working in the summer and coaching the boys in the fall and girls in the spring, it kind of just sometimes it's nice to have a little break for myself as well.
I think that's something that gets overlooked a lot. I mean, I talk to trainers all the time. They're always talking to me about overuse injuries and people being forced, or well, maybe not forced, but strongly encouraged to do stuff all the time. There's something to be said for letting yourself relax and rejuvenate.
100%. Yeah, there definitely needs to be those time periods, and I know we got the couple moratorium kind of periods built into the summer now, and usually a fall break or a spring break or something where they're maybe not doing stuff. But yeah, it's definitely not good. You hear about a lot of tennis things too, just injuries and things with some of the motions in tennis if they do it all the time. So even the pros take usually some time off a couple times during the year to kind of rest their bodies and that kind of thing. So
Talk about your girls. I mean, you haven't had a chance to see them outside. You really haven't had any competition yet, but you got some folks coming back. I mean, who are some of the people you're expecting some things out of this year, or at least
yeah,
that?
we're actually really excited about the group of girls that we have, and we're going to be led by some of our seniors at the top. So Sophia Quintero is one of our seniors. She played two singles last year varsity, and probably will be in the mix there for one singles this year. And Mia Hartley was three singles last year, and will be in the mix there for one and two. So they're likely to be kind of at the top of our lineup in that singles lineup. And I think they both improved from last year. They both managed for the boys team and got to hit with the boys a lot. And they're both good athletic kids and work hard. And so I think we're going to be strong at the top with those two in whatever order, and they're very close as well. But Sophia had a winning season. I don't remember exactly what her record was. I want to say like 15-8 or something at two singles, and Mia was like I think 19 or 20-3 for the year at three singles last year, and so those girls are really going to do good things for us this year. And then Marissa Langfeld is a returning two doubles player for us last year, and she's a senior as well. And she had a strong year at two doubles last year, and so she'll obviously move up in the lineup as well. So we'll kind of be led by those three seniors, and the rest of our kind of top seven from last year graduated, and then we lost some JV kids as well. So the other one would be Lydia Reyes. She really made some good strides last year. She played several varsity matches before Coach Heck could finally make up his mind on the lineup last year. So she's got some experience, and then she really made some strides last year, improved a lot. She won the conference tournament at one JV singles, and she had a real good year. I think she only had, I want to say like 5 losses total, and like 2 or 3 of those were on the varsity or whatever. So at the JV level, I think she only had like maybe 2 losses the entire season, or maybe 1. I don't remember, but so she'll be a really strong lineup member as well.
It sounds to me like the biggest decisions you got to make is who's going to play with who in your doubles teams.
Yeah, we'll see. I think there's a couple things that we can do with our lineup. Like we're talking now, and we really are only like 2 rounds of challenge matches in, and we like to have some flexibility in there to do quite a few, even 5 or 6 rounds or whatever, and kind of see where people kind of end up or get close to. Then maybe do a 2 out of 3 to kind of decide a spot or whatever. And I know some of them are going to be back and forth, so that we don't need to have them play 7 times head to head or something like that. But we definitely need to have some flexibility and letting some of them move up or down and see where that stuff finalizes. But once we do, then we've got to kind of make a decision, kind of who plays, maybe the last single spot potentially, and then kind of who slides into doubles, or how we kind of work that after probably Sophia and Mia at those top 2 single spots. So we'll kind of see what happens and what we decide on that, what we think's best for the team there, and then kind of fill in the other gaps with where we need to fill them in, and who we think kind of gives us the best chance to win in those positions.
Best chance to win is the best question. I mean, your schedule. The NLC in tennis, just like every other sport, it seems, is becoming every year a bigger grinder. I mean, you have just the conference schedule. A lot of great teams, a lot of great tradition there, and it's not easy.
Yep, nope, it's difficult. There are no easy matches, and even a couple of years ago, like Mishawaka was a team that joined the conference, and they were kind of a team that was real weak, and they've actually improved the last couple of years their program and got their kids playing more. So really, any of the NLC matches, like you just can't show up and expect to win. You gotta be ready to compete each and every night in the NLC, but Looking at last year, we were kind of right in the mix last year till the last couple matches of the conference tournament, and ended up finishing third. But we were right there, literally a match or two away from winning conference last year. And again, we graduated a lot, but we also brought a lot of, good pieces back. And so I think compared to a lot of the other schools, lost similar to us or some of the same positions as us. So I feel like, we definitely have another chance to, if we keep improving, like we have so far during practices and keep doing things the right way. I feel like we got a chance to definitely compete for that conference championship, but we could probably finish down the line. There's just a lot of good teams that can get you, and a lot of it comes down to matchups or the day of the week that you play or whatever. So, but our goal is just to show up and compete each match our best and kind of see what happens.
And I got to say, even forget the conference, your sectional opponents, they continue to get better every year. A lot of the local programs are really coming on at like Glenn and Bremen and places like that. You got CMA around here. I mean, you got a lot of people non-conference wise that are really good tennis programs.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we don't have a whole lot of, we don't really have any gimmies on our schedule for wins. It's just, I think there's not a lot, there's not really anything that we can't win if we play our best, but there's definitely not any that we can't lose either. We could lose all of them. So, but yeah, Triton's got a nice program, and they've always got athletic kids, and they compete hard. And Bremen's definitely, led by they'll have a good couple strong singles players and some other solid players mixed in there. So they'll be tough to beat. And, Culver is always going to be strong, just with the kids that they can bring in there. And so I would guess they're going to be the team to beat in the sectional this year.
Well, man, I want to thank you for taking the time. I appreciate it a lot, and good luck to you. We're going to be talking again over the course of the year. We'll catch up with how you're doing once the year starts. Once there's finally some sunshine, maybe, and you can get outside and figure out what's going on.
There you go. We're all for that.
It's Brad Hackney, head tennis coach at Plymouth, and we'll be right back. And John Nadolny, head coach at John Glenn High School for baseball, I should say, joins me here on Saturday morning coaches show. I'm going to ask you. I know you had a scrimmage scheduled. Did you get a chance to do that?
No, we had to cancel it. We haven't. It's been like 6 years since we've had a scrimmage. The weather's always so bad, this time of the year. You never know. But we've had that date scheduled for 6 years, and we've never played at Mishawaka. I just put practice down. I don't worry about being ever scrimmage.
Well, have you been able to get outside much? I know some guys have been able to get outside once in a while, but I think Triton's the only one who's been able to actually play a game.
Yeah, we were out Monday, and we've been out a handful of times. I mean, if it's not raining, we're out there. We went out Tuesday. It was pretty cold. No, it was Saturday. It was one of the days was colder than heck. And we didn't care. It's just like, let's just stay out here for an hour and 45 minutes and get what we need to get done. And it's better than being inside. And we've been stuck inside here since Monday. And so we're going to try and get a night practice in tomorrow. Use our lights. We have a double header next Friday. So we want to get under the lights, practice under the lights before we play at nighttime.
I forgot you guys have the lights now. You're going to be able to play those night games. Yeah.
If we play early game and, it gets dark, we don't have to worry about, stopping the game and it, being a tie or whatever. We can just keep playing. It's a nice thing to have. We don't play a lot of night games, but we got a doubleheader scheduled with Berrien Springs a week from tomorrow. So we're going to try and get a night practice in tomorrow night, and get at least under the lights, and because we're not under them too much. So but we were going to do it earlier in the week, but Mother Nature hasn't cooperated very well.
Well, especially this time of year, it gets kind of cold at night.
Yeah, but as long as it's not raining, we don't care anymore. We're at that point, like let's just get outside. We're totally tired. Tired of the gym. Everybody's in the same boat. And so I know there's teams calling. They want to play us next week, or if we had an opening. And I said we haven't even opened up yet, and we have a full schedule. But I know Marion's been washed out twice. There's been a couple teams that have tried to play, and it's a crapshoot the first 2 weeks of the year with the weather. So it's just been a lot. It's been a rainy section here. We've had a rainy time here, so it's not been good for playing games.
That's the thing about baseball. A lot of people don't realize. I mean, you get rainouts and then you can't reschedule, and you want to play those games. You don't want to lose those days during the regular season. And finding somebody to play then, if you can, becomes another ball wax.
Yeah, everybody's chasing games, and then you got to find umpires, and
Yep.
if you do find somebody, you got to find the right date, and then all of a sudden you got a bunch of games piled up on top of each other, and that's not good for the kids either, because well, you know how arms are.
Yeah.
And especially earlier in the year, if you can space stuff out, you're okay, but when you get a lot of rain, and then you got to play a lot of games to make them up, it could be a little dicey sometimes.
Though, but I would think, I don't know how you feel about it, but at the end of the year, that isn't as bad as it would be now, having to bunch up a bunch of games together. Like you mentioned, guys' arms got to get into shape. I mean, there's all kinds of other requirements here at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, you just have to. At the end of the year, you just run out of time.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
if you get toward the tournament, so it's a little different. You have some more days here early, but I don't know. You just got to somehow try and get them in, and just spread your pitching out a little bit,
Yeah.
and try and get it in that way. But nobody's had a lot of success so far. That's for sure.
You're going to say you get to the end of the year, your kids are really happy if you're playing every day because they're done. They'd rather do that than practice anytime.
Oh yeah, but there's certain points of the year it's like, let's play. We need to play some games, or practices. We've done enough. Let's see what we can do on the field and all that. So we're just how it is with baseball around
Yeah.
here. You got 28 games in 7 weeks, and if you get some bad weather, it's trouble. And sometimes you don't get them all in. For
Talk,
whatever reason.
talk about some of the stuff you do early. I mean, like I said, early in the year, you probably want to practice at least a little more often, but there are things like bunt coverages, first and thirds, defensive plays, cutoffs, all that stuff that has to be worked in and worked over and just repeated over and over again. And if you can't get on the field to do that, that becomes a problem then when you actually do get to play.
Yeah, it is, especially with cutoffs. And I mean, even if in the gym you can work butt coverage and first and third situations, but it's not the same as being full out on the field. It really hurts your cutoffs if whatever you plug in, how you want your cutoffs, the repetitions. It's you don't get the repetitions. So we just been a little bit each day touching base with rundowns.
Yeah.
We just do the best we can inside and give them as many reps, rundowns, pickoffs, first and third situations, all that stuff. And so you kind of talk more communication, when you're doing, with rundowns and talking to each other, your signals for whatever pickoffs you have, you know what I'm saying?
Right, yeah.
And the one thing about, you miss out, the outfielders really are at a disadvantage going outside early, I think, because of the lack of time seeing the ball up in the air enough, judging balls, getting good routes to balls. You can do stuff in the gym, but it's nothing like seeing a ball off a bat at batting practice or getting extra fungos on the side. So you just work a lot of this infield stuff, and you should be good with it because you do enough of it inside, when you have a lot of rain and things. But you just, as you get closer, you say, okay, today we're going to touch base with these two things. Defensively, we're going to highlight it. We're going to go at it. The next day we're going to do these two things. If you get a good day and you're outside, then you're going cutoffs, and things like that. And you just early in the year, you just try and plug all your stuff in, and then try and get them as many reps as you can with it, and then hopefully when they get in the ball game,
Yeah.
you know, then they can execute it. But we've had a few inter squad scrimmages and things like that. We did one Saturday. We had a short kind of a just batter pitcher catcher thing, you know, uh, just with some competition and things like that. And they needed to see some lives. And then in the cage, the last couple nights, we've had all our pitchers throw live. So it's important, other than just BP, that the kids see something off the live pitcher's
Yeah.
arms. They see the changeup, curveball, everything, and they get used to that, even if it's inside. We've done that the last couple practices since we went inside, and that. So you just gotta plan it out, touch base on everything as much as you can, but I think the outfielders are the ones that suffer the most.
I got to agree with you because even, from day to day, are there clouds in the sky? Are there no clouds in the sky? Is it cloudy? I mean, the way the ball looks in the air is different from day to day, too.
Yeah, the wind blows.
Yeah.
Some days the wind's gusting, other days the sun's out. And then, there's another thing. You get our field, like right field, second base is our sun field.
Yep.
And you hope you get a couple days that the sun's out and they can, you can work with them on, shading the sun, and able to track balls and things like that. So we've had, Saturday was a sunny day. It was a little chilly, but so we've had a day or two here and there, but they're so spread out that there's no consistency with anything. And that's probably the thing, it's consistency. And so it looks like starting Monday, it's not going to be the warmest, but I don't think they're calling for any rain Monday,
Right.
Tuesday. I haven't looked past that. And we open up Tuesday, so I think we'll get Tuesday's game in, or the first game of the year. But yeah, it's the weather is, you look at the weather constantly, and I leave my house in South Bend, and there's no rain, and I drive through North Liberty, there's some drizzle. By the time I get to Walker, it's pouring, or it could be vice versa, so you just never know where what's happening, so that's the frustrating part. Everybody, I always tell them, like yesterday, I said, hey, you're inside tomorrow. There's no doubt about that, for today's practice. And I said, maybe Friday, we're going to, like I said, we try to get a night practice in tomorrow, or, on Friday. And then Saturday, they're calling for 80% chance of rain again, so you go outside when you can, and you try, and when you're out there, you try and get as much stuff in as possible, as much stuff as you can, because it's just vital that, because it's just so few times,
Right.
So, and we play 4 games next week. So now then you're down to fewer practices, more games each week, and so you got to start making adjustments off of your game, how you played, what you saw, or then who you're playing. It just comes all in a hurry, and you just got to get as much stuff as you can in, as many reps of things that you think are very important, when you're outside.
All that said, you mentioned it. You start Tuesday. How do you feel about where you're at? Have you seen enough of your guys to know, get a feel for where you think you're going to be?
Well, just comparing from last year to this year, I think we're 100% better than where we were at last year. We were very, very young last year.
Yeah.
Still are very young, but we have a whole varsity year under our belt. I think they've picked up on things faster this year, and we're looking better than what we were last year. And so I think I'm enthused about, and we just got to do it. There's no excuses anymore. As a freshman, you had to kind of, when you're that young with 6 freshmen in the lineup, or, and a sophomore, you got to be a little bit more patient with them and talk them through some things, and they haven't experienced some things before, I just had to be really patient last year. The kids will probably say I wasn't, but definitely they'll say that. I'll tell you that right now. But we're what I comparing from at 365 days, I'd say we're way better than what we were last year. So I think we're going to play, a lot better ball from the start of the season. And I think as the season goes on, we're going to just get better and better.
I'm going to venture too that I don't think you're probably doing anything any different than you've done for the past 15, 20 years. They know what they're going to hear from you. They know what you expect of them, and it is easier for them to get that because they know what's coming.
Yeah, they just needed experience. You have to fail. Not everything's perfect. I know that, but they have to fail first and then learn from it and then get better off of it. I think that's where we're at. We're seeing things a little bit better. Our communications are a little better. We still have a long way to go. We still do on some things, but on just overall, I think the group is a better group than we had last year, and it's mostly the same group.
Yeah,
it's just that we're a little bit older. We've gone through some things, and so therefore, I think because of all the the little we got our butts whipped early last year, and I don't think that's going to happen this year to us.
Well, let's take a look at your first week. You mentioned you have 4 games. Rochester has they've become one of the better programs around. Don't know anything about Berrien Springs. Washington Township, another one that's become one of the better programs around. Knox, you start the conference with them. I mean, you got a killer first week, 10 days.
Yeah, it's just one game. So it's one game at a time. And let's just don't worry about everything else. Let's worry about Tuesday. And then we'll make our adjustments from that game on. We're trying to set up our pitching. Again, with the weather, it's going to be a little colder. You don't expect it. I'm not going to have a kid go out and throw the whole game or 6 innings or whatever. It's going to be, hey, they already kind of know, hey, we're going to, you 3 guys are for, this is who I'm going to use, on Tuesday.
Yeah.
And then, we're gonna split that pitching. Just with the pitching part of it, we're gonna get everybody a chance on the mound a little bit and put them in good situations that we hope that they have some success for it. But I'm not gonna hurt anybody's arm. It's crazy to throw somebody full game.
Yeah.
I mean, if a kid's coming out of the gym at 100 pitches, hey, maybe. But, for the most part, I got kids that have to play shortstop and play second and play third and I have to say, I really have to monitor their arms and stuff like that. So we're just going to split games up early. And as far as the pitching goes, and just see how the pitch count goes. Because you never know, somebody may step on the mound and look awesome. He's done. You put the next guy in, he may not have the same control or whatever, and so you have to have the third guy ready.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of watching arms and making sure everybody is as healthy as they can be, because you know how it is. You play ball. Once you start the season, your arm really never feels it feels the best the first day of the season, and then after that, you're always kind of babying that thing a little bit. So. You have better days and other days and stuff like that, but we'll monitor the pitching and kind of make sure that everybody gets, at least that first week before we start conference, we look at and we see what kind of depth we have. Yeah. We really have.
Yeah, I used to tell guys early on, I don't need pitchers, especially. I don't need heroes in April. I need you in June. So, be honest with me about what you feel.
Yeah. And, we'll see how it goes. I think, like I said, I think our pitching's a little deeper right now than it was last year. And I think we're a little bit more confident, and I'm more confident in them. So I think I know their ability more, and we've made some good adjustments. I think our 3 pitches are better than they were last year. You know, their fastball, curveball, changeup, or slider is better than it was last year, and we have a little bit more movement on the ball. We've moved some fingers on the seams a little bit more, and to get some movement. So we're learning. You know,
Yeah.
it's a learning thing. So, and we're a little bit physically bigger than what we were last year. You know, and then same thing will be said next year. They'll be stronger and, you know, more physical and things like that. So that comes, you know, with maturation and maturity and stuff like that. So we're just looking forward. I think the kids, they're really itching to play. I mean, we're at that point where it's time. You know, let's see where we're at. You know.
Well, man, I want to thank you for taking the time to talk to me, and good luck to you next week. And we'll be running into each other more than once here as we go down the line. We got a bunch of your games, so we'll be talking to you again soon.
Hey, looking forward to seeing you guys.
It's John Nadolny, the head coach at Glenn. Yeah, joining us in this segment, Mark Elliott, the head baseball coach at Triton High School. I just got your box score from last night in front of me. You got to be happy with how that turned out.
Definitely happy with it, and what a wild box score, right? We made Bears, only had 3 hits, and found a way to win. Definitely capitalized on some of their mistakes and their free passes. They gave our guys a lot of walks, but we got the job done, and it's always nice to win against a 3A school and get the season started like that.
Let's talk about that wild box score a little bit, though. There are a couple of things I got to believe you are really happy about, and that is your pitchers gave up 1 walk this early in the season. That's unbelievable.
For sure. And we scrimmaged on Monday, and that was not the case. So they came ready to go, and it was cold and it was wet. And they threw a lot of strikes and kept the ball over the plate. And we made the 5 errors in the field, or I'm not sure what the box score says. It felt like more maybe than what it said. But yeah, we limited the walks, and so we were able to get away with some of those errors.
Talk about where you feel you're at now. I mean, you got to feel lucky, first of all, that we're actually able to get out and play a game. I don't know if anybody else has yet. Break it down for us. Where do you feel you're at right now?
Yeah, well, Northwood having the turf definitely is what saved the day for us yesterday. So we're happy that they were able to host us and appreciate them. We're kind of in a weird spot because our basketball team obviously made it to state.
Yeah.
And having a couple of kids, our catcher and our shortstop last night, were on the basketball team. So we were like trying to sneak in a couple of practices here and there for them when they weren't doing basketball stuff to get them eligible in time for these games and the scrimmage on Monday. And that was a handful. So we appreciate their willingness to do all of that. So we haven't really had that many practices with the whole team. But they're baseball kids. I mean, it's basically our same team from last year. We lost 1 senior, 1 transfer out. So we had 7 starters coming back. And everybody kind of knew their role. And I think that's really helped us to kind of pick right up where we left off last year.
And I got to imagine that it's hard enough getting gym time and stuff during the winter with winter sports needing those. But the fact that your basketball team went so long, it had to be even harder to get space to even practice in.
Yep, for sure. It's always a challenge. Luckily, like everybody's very accommodating and willing to help out. So we were able to get our 2 practices twice a week, but again, without those basketball kids there, we did some morning stuff just for those guys. So they've been throwing, and in the winter they can work with their travel ball teams. So they were throwing bullpens with those teams and stuff. So it's not like they've been completely away from the game. Their arms are ready to go for the most part. But yeah, having the whole team together is obviously different. Not being able to run through team concepts and relays and situations and all of that stuff before the season gets going made it hard. But making the best of it.
How did your off season go? I mean, you mentioned you have baseball kids, and you do. You got a lot of guys. It's pretty clear baseball is their thing. How was attendance during your off season? I mean, did you get a lot of guys into the gym when they had the opportunity?
Yeah, and in a small school, it's hard too because you share so many athletes,
Yeah.
and I think what makes all the coaches so accommodating to everybody else. But we did have pretty good numbers, even in the fall. We honestly don't have a lot of football guys, and even with the basketball team, there were only 2 sophomores that are part of that. So even the upperclassmen really aren't basketball guys. So even with sharing athletes and sharing gym space, I felt like we, for the most part, had most of our key components there in the off season and putting the work in and getting better then.
How was the work? I mean, did you get enough done? How do you feel about how it went?
I mean, practicing inside always sucks. But that's all we've been doing, I feel like. So very grateful that we got to play yesterday for sure. And there's only so much you can do, right? So we swing a bat a ton, we throw a ton, get in the weight room. It gets very repetitive for the guys, but I think that they can see the growth that's happened in the last few years. And while they're doing the same thing, and it feels like they've been doing the same thing since January, and they have, they can see the benefits of doing all of it.
Let's talk about some of your guys too. I mean, you've got a lot back from last year. You had a great year last year. Um, I'm sure some of those guys have gotten better. What kind of growth have you seen out of them?
Yeah, the upperclassmen obviously, like they are who they are. They got a little bit better, a little bit stronger. Most of the growth, I would say, has come from that group of freshmen last year. So one of them transferred out, but we started 5 freshmen last year, and we're returning 4 now sophomores with a year of experience, a year of maturity, physical growth. I think that's where our biggest gain will come from, just from that group of 4 guys being another year older and another, like, having a year in the system and knowing how we do things. That's been big. And we have a junior who's really stepped up and come a long way in the last couple of years to be able to fill the shoes of Isaiah Vaca, our senior that graduated last year. He turned out to be much more of a contributor than we were kind of expecting going into last season. So I feel really good about where we're at. Obviously, when you only lose 1 or 2 guys, and you win a sectional, you should feel pretty good about where you're at. But yeah, we're just trying to not get ahead of ourselves and take it one day at a time, one pitch at a time, and just keep getting better.
I'm sure you're probably, well, we already talked a little bit about it, how you feel about your pitching so far. And you and I both know that this game, that's what the game is about. You go as far as your pitchers will take you. Do you feel like they're where you want them to be at this point? I mean, even beyond the 2 guys you saw yesterday.
Yep, definitely. Excuse me. One of those sophomore basketball players, Levi McFarland, like, I feel very blessed that he's our number 3, and he's going to be living in the low 80s this year with a nice curveball. We got 3 guys that can go out there and win us a game no matter who we're playing. So feel really good about where we're at. Try to keep developing those guys behind them. And yeah, our pitching staff is going to be another big strength for us again this year.
And obviously, at this point in the year, pitchers are usually ahead of your hitters until the bees start to get out of the hands when you swing the bat. How do you feel about your guys at the plate?
Yeah, 3 hits yesterday. Isn't going to impress anybody. It didn't look great, but again, it was timely, hitting the ball hard, and running the bases really well and getting the job done there. So that's the nice thing too about this team, and kind of what I stressed to them after the game is we only had 3 hits and we scored 5 runs against a 3A school. Like, we can find ways to win games other than just hitting doubles to the fence over and over again. So I feel good about where we're at offensively, where we can manufacture runs if we need to, and we can hit the ball to the fence if we need to. Hopefully once we get more. But, yeah, I feel like we can kind of do it all and win games however we need to, depending on how things are going that day.
I was going to say, too, I mean, Northwood is one of those programs that you kind of measure your program against because year in, year out, you know, they pretty much just reload. I mean, being able to get them at their place this early in the year, that's got to add a little swagger to your guys, too.
For sure. And that's going to be our challenge now is just, hey, keep them humble and keep them working. But I think these guys just love the game too much to start acting that way. But it is nice to give us that confidence rolling into the beginning of the year. We always open our conference with Caston, who's going to be at the top. So it's nice to play a good team and win a close game like that too. I think is really important for us to get us ready to roll into conference play.
Talk about your schedule a bit. I mean, you mentioned your conference already. There's not a lot of confidence builders in that schedule at all. How do you feel about all of that going in?
I think we're in a really good spot, and I would have said that before the win yesterday. Obviously, that helps us feel better, but with all these pieces that we've had returning, and we were, I think, 4th in the conference last year, and we started out 0-3 lost 2 games against Caston and lost 1 to North Judson. So feeling a lot better where we're at here to start the year. I think that will help us start off a little bit better in the conference, and then I expect us to be competing for it. I don't know. I think the last time we won the conference was maybe back when they won state in 2001. So it's been a while. It's been a long time coming, and I think this year we have a real chance to compete for it.
Talk about that a little bit, though, too. If I remember right, your conference is like back-to-back nights, correct?
Correct. Yep. So again, our pitching staff being a big strength for us is gonna go a long ways in those. We do play either back-to-back Thursday, Friday, or Monday, Tuesday, or a doubleheader on Saturday, which I think is kind of in an effort to level the playing field a little bit. And you can't just run through the conference with one stud pitcher. Probably need 3 to win the conference. And like I said earlier, with Drew and Braxton and Levi, we've got 3 guys that are going to keep us in every game.
I was going to say, the way that plays out, it kind of forces you to develop 2 or 3 guys, doesn't it?
It really does. And that's what I'm really passionate about. I love to see the growth of the guys year over year and putting the work in the weight room and throwing. And we spend a lot of time working on throwing mechanics and throwing velocity. And that's our major focus really every winter. So that's what I'm passionate about. That's what I love to see is when these guys come in as freshmen and they're undersized and they're throwing 65 miles an hour to the point where we are hopefully living in the low 80s here off the mound junior, senior year. It's fun to see that growth and watch their passion for the game grow when they see their skills continue to improve year over year.
It's going to sound like a weird question, but I might ask it anyway because I'm always curious. Being an old pitching coach myself, how much do you throw off a mound early? Do you do a lot of flat surface work, or do you go right straight to the mound?
You know what? Honestly, we do a lot less off the mound than you might think.
Yeah.
I'm a big believer that it's just developing throwers and making everybody on the team throw well, and I think that translates to the mound. I do very little like mechanical coaching once we put a guy on the mound. Like there might be a tweak or 2, but for the most part, it's just, hey, let's figure out how to throw and throw well, and then let your body adapt to throwing downhill.
Yeah, we were always afraid. I was always taught that throwing off a mound, you have a greater chance of injury. So earlier in the year, you probably shouldn't do a lot of work on the mound so you can stay healthy. And I think a lot of people are going to that now.
Yeah, that and just slowly ramping up the pitch counts and getting them in there in the January and getting their arms worked up to the point where, okay, let's start with 20 pitches and, add 10 pitches a week or so. And some guys, that's too much. We back off and really teach them to be their own best coach and listen to their arms and kind of adapt to their schedule and their progression based off of how they're feeling. So that's always tough too when you're talking about 15 and 16-year-olds and sometimes they think that they're hurt, but it's, hey, that's a good sore. Like we're building the growth here, the strength, and it's going to hurt a little bit, but there's a difference between sore and hurt, and figuring that out is tough sometimes too.
That one size doesn't fit all, does it? I mean, it's just
Sure.
it's different with every guy.
Yep.
Well, man, I want to thank you for taking the time. I appreciate it. And we're going to have you on here a few times during the course of the year, a couple of your games. And I'm sure we're going to be running into each other at least once or twice before the year is over.
Sounds great. I appreciate the coverage. Thank you very much.
And that is Mark Elliott, head baseball coach at Triton. And we're going to take a break. We'll be right back. Ryan Wolf, head baseball coach at Plymouth, joins us here in this segment. Man, I know The weather has not been cooperating, but at least you haven't gotten rained out yet. You guys don't. Well, by the time we play this, it's going to be Saturday. You guys are supposed to play at Huntington. Hopefully, you'll get that one in.
Yeah, I just texted the coach and told him what time we were leaving. So, yeah, if any information needs to be sent my way, please do before we're on the road. Still have nightmares of driving to McCutcheon and never playing an inning a few years ago. So, while I want to play, I don't want to ride a bus and not play. So, yeah, we're just dealing with it. It is what it is. Again, just like the game of life in baseball, it throws you curveballs sometimes, and you got to adjust and deal with it. And to me, the game of baseball is really you're playing yourself every day, not an opponent. And the same thing I told the kids the other day applies when we're inside. I mean, you could get better. Doesn't mean that we can't get better. Doesn't mean that we're going to be able to take ground balls and take fly balls, things like that. But you can push yourself to get better at something inside. And I really think the guys have done that. Again, while not ideal, it's been a good week.
You know, and I know I've said this before, but I used to like hitting indoors in the cage because, number one, I wasn't worried about how cold it was and my hands are going to be stung by bees every time I took a swing. But, you know, being able to relax and just really work on some things and think about what I was doing, I thought that I got a lot more done inside than I did outside.
Well, they definitely get a lot more swings, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Just for the fact that they're in the cage, and that's really all we do inside, and we've been doing that since January, so we got a pretty good system down. But yeah, I mean, it's one thing to be inside and get those swings. Another thing to, as a coach, want to get out and, man, I want to see what our defense looks like because that's what's going to win us ball games. So. Yeah, I get a little anxious to being inside. I know the kids do get a lot more swings, and it is good to work on things and specifics mechanically and whatnot, rather than just kind of seeing how far we can hit the ball and whatnot. But yeah, just those live reads is something that early in the season I just love to get outside, just balls off the bat, seeing balls come off the bat from the outfield and. Just the base running things as well. I mean, again, a lot we can do inside, but to get outside and actually put your feet in the dirt does something for you.
You've had a chance to get outside quite a bit so far this year, and you talked about getting better. I mean, you've had a chance to assess a little bit. Do you feel like you're getting better?
Yeah, I do. I mean, we return a lot, so it's one thing. I mean, I go into every year assuming that we're all brand new, and then just kind of go from there. I mean, we do got some new guys in the varsity, and making that leap from JV to varsity, just in terms of what we do and how we do things. That's the biggest thing I kind of use these first couple weeks for is this is how we do things here. I mean, this is the way we do things at Plymouth. And how we handle ourselves in different situations and just different coaches, how I'm going to direct you at third base. I mean, that's something today that we're going to work on. I got my list out of a checklist of things that we've done and haven't done. And one thing we haven't done is just, all right, going scoring from second. And what do I do at third base to hold you up or send you home? So just little things like that that we got to continue to get better at. We worked a lot on base running this year. Overall, our team speed is probably the best I think we've maybe ever been, just team-wise overall. 2019, 2018, we were pretty fast as well. But just from top to bottom, we can, for the most part, all run. So, yeah, I think we've gotten a lot better. I mean, again, it helps when you got the leaders that you have. The upperclassmen kind of just is the way we do it, and I don't have to say a whole lot. So I think they've been a very good blessing in terms of getting the kids, the younger kids, where they need to be, and just a really good group from top to bottom. I mean, the 46 guys combined in our program have really bought in, and our coaches are coaching them up, and really that's all I can ask. And we're all anxious to play another team. I'll tell you that, though.
You just mentioned that too, and I didn't think about that. You got really good numbers this year, but corralling all 46 guys in a gym has got to be a challenge.
Yeah, I'd love that we're getting a new gym floor, but I wish it wasn't being done right now. 'Cause, as does tennis, as does track, as does softball. I mean, all of us are just anxious to get outside because of the limited space inside. Which, once again, I mean, you can gripe and complain, you can mope, or you can say, you know what, this is what it is, and we're going to make the best of it. And I think we've done a good job there. Of just making use of the space that we have. We have had to obviously make some modifications to practice and spend a little bit more time in the classroom, which to me is always somewhat of a good thing. I mean, I would much rather be outside, but it has given us some time to go over some things, and the classroom does a good job of building that culture. It's one thing to be outside, and when I get outside, I get anxious and want to just do a bunch of baseball stuff, which is good too, but having that extra time to kind of sit and talk and have the kids talk and all right, what do we need to work on this year, and what are we good at? Just writing some stuff on the board. I mean, just getting them to think, and both or all three teams honestly have had a really good week here in terms of having that combination of being in the classroom and in the gym. And yesterday we were able to get out. Thursday we were able to get out. Friday we were able to get out, and then hopefully be ready to go for Saturday.
You know, the classroom thing probably, I'm thinking, is useful in another way, in the fact that, you know, why we do some of the things we do, explaining to them what your thought process is in wanting them to do this a certain way. Because baseball is the kind of game, like Coach for the guy used to say, don't think, you weaken the ball club. You got to do things instinctively and not think about them and know why you're doing them, and that has got to help in that kind of way.
Yeah, I mean, the why behind everything, Rusty, is the key, I think, for the kids to get some buy-in. I mean, we got new kids. We got kids that have come from other schools to join our program. And, I mean, when you understand the why, and again, that's life too. I mean, that's anything you do. You got to have a why. Why do you play the game? Why do you do this? And when you understand that, I think things start to click, and there's a lot more buy-in to understanding, hey, this is the way we're going to do things here. I mean, this is the way Plymouth baseball does things. I like to show them statistics, so it's not just me telling them why. It's actual proof in the statistics of past years. When we've been successful, we've done this. When we haven't been successful, we haven't done this. And so I have PowerPoints that I show them. I mean, it's really a good learning opportunity. The game of baseball is pretty simple on paper. Just hit the ball and run and field the ball and throw it to first. But on the other hand, there's a lot more behind the scenes that go on, and talk about how to handle failure. Talk about how to read a pitcher, communicating with teammates about what do you see, both at the plate and in the field. We spent a lot of time this year with our pitchers and catchers. Just all right, what kind of signs do we go to with the guy on second that's trying to relay signs to the hitter? There's a lot more to it. My checklist is not just one page of what we got to go over, and it is nice to have that time to kind of get the kids to understand the whys behind what we do.
I would think film would you'd be able to get more film work in. That would be good too. There's something about seeing yourself do something. When a coach is saying, well, you're doing this, and you're able to go and point out to him exactly what you're talking about, it's got to have more impact.
Yeah, I've kind of been just under the idea that I can talk to a kid, and sometimes that clicks. Sometimes a kid, just by me kind of communicating what it is I want him to do, especially when it comes to some mechanical things with his swing or on the mound. But yeah, more than likely it's going to click when they see it. And then I also, when I kind of compare it to someone that does it well and they see that, and then ultimately it really comes when they start to feel it. I mean, I don't do a whole lot of mechanical corrections in terms of put your hands here, do this, but I also do a lot of, hey, I want you to hit the ball there, and I want you to figure it out yourself. And once you feel it and see it, then it usually starts to click with them. And we've had a lot of success with that, especially with this curveball stuff and some of the fine-tuned mechanical things that go into baseball. And you're definitely right. I mean, film in today's era is the key. You got a camera in your hand 24/7, and I use my phone a lot. I got different apps that we can do, and I can slow it down, and I can draw on it, and so we're doing a lot of that inside. Which again, inside gives us time to do that as
Right.
well.
Well, talk about your week coming up. I mean, hopefully you'll get to play tomorrow, or like I said, it'll be today when people hear this. And then you got what you got? Lavelle coming up Wednesday. What do you got between there? Don't you have a game in there somewhere?
Yeah, we play 4 games next week, so I loaded up this front end knowing that rain is a possibility. So, yeah, 2 on Saturday. We play West Noble. They're coming over here on Tuesday night, home opener. Laville comes on Wednesday, St. Joe on Thursday, and we go to Fairfield on Friday. So, really busy week. But that honestly, with the I wanted to do that. I want to get the guys on the mound. The next week is light. We just play Rochester prior to a tournament on Saturday, so only 3 games the following week. But again, we're playing 9 games before conference opens up. Which, if we get all 9 in, great. If not, then we've at least probably got quite a few in, just for the sake of scheduling them. So, yeah, we're excited to get out. Yeah, I mean, at this time of year, it's go out and kind of continue to build up their arms, and just with 15 guys, trying to figure out what's the best lineup with who's on the mound. And I feel we got a number of guys that are going to fill roles that, as always, you want the best defense and a really good offense out there every night, no matter who's there. And I think we got the guys to kind of put those pieces together.
Yeah, 9 games before conference too. I mean, there are a lot of things you got to sort out before you get to that conference schedule, because, well, I mean, just who's going to pitch is the big thing. I mean, figuring out
Yeah,
what
it
that
is.
rotation's going to be.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, just guys like Dom. Dom's role last year, we didn't know what it would be, and it settled into kind of our back end guy, our relief guy. And is he going to be a starter this year? Are we going to continue to have him in that role? I mean, we know Nick filled that role last year as a starter, and Dom Grady started a few games, but we got a lot of young pitchers. I mean, we got Tucker Sarver, and Landon Tyler, and Ben's going to throw a little bit. Parker Wolf will probably throw a little bit more. Aiden Macias, Grayson Terone. I mean, we got a lot of good arms, but a lot of unknowns until I get him in there in battle. Right? It's one thing to throw a bullpen and hitter maybe standing in there, but it's not the competition piece. So, yeah, who enjoys the guy on third, winning run on third, and 2 strikes, 2 outs on the hitter, and who doesn't like that? So I need to figure that out. And I think the 9 games, that's kind of why I did it, just to put those guys in situations where we can, as a coaching staff, begin to have some conversations and get guys into the roles that suit them. I mean, we don't want to put anyone into a role that doesn't suit them. And at this point, again, we have some ideas. Everyone, and Sue Embry coach has written out tons of lineups already, but in terms of figuring all that out, you got to play a game.
Yeah, that's true. Especially for a pitcher, I think you got to face live hitters in order to stay fresh and to figure out what's going right and what's going wrong. And there's no replacement for that.
No, and that's, like I said, these games, obviously we want to win every game, but these games are about learning too, about ourselves, and the kids learning about themselves. I mean, who they are, what they're good at, how they can compete, what pitches work in situations, just seeing, again, offensively, balls out of pitchers' hands. Just starting to gel. I mean, we got a great group, great culture so far. Had a great group last year that kind of set the tone going into this year, and a lot of guys before us that have just continued to set the tone and the culture about how we do things here, and we're excited to get going.
Well, man, I want to thank you for taking the time. Good luck to you as you get out there today, and we'll be with you on Wednesday. So I know I'm going to be bugging you down a little bit later in the week for a pregame. So we'll talk again soon.
Sounds good. Bring the sunshine.
Yeah, I will try. Believe me, I'm an old guy. I like it warm.
Yeah, I know.
That is Ryan Wolf, the head baseball coach at Plymouth, and stay right there. Shane Lowry joins me in this segment of the Coach's Show this morning, head coach of the Culver Cavaliers. And man, you probably are chomping at the bit right now to get outside and get something going.
Yeah, this spring season, well, last winter was pretty brutal. To start out with, just talking about our situation at Culver Community, we're currently practicing on the parking lot asphalt and an outfield of a soccer field. We are waiting on our sod to set in our infield and a little bit around the base paths. We had a overhaul of the infield this winter. Well, actually this spring. They started last fall, and it didn't, something or other happen, and they couldn't put the sod in at the end of fall, which would have been ideal. I'm not sure, lots of different factors, early frost, and
Yeah.
a lot of different things kind of stood in our way. But yeah, we've been preparing on a parking lot where I walked everything off and spray painted bases and bought $250 worth of Kevlar coated baseballs that I could smack around on the asphalt. It's kind of like turf, it takes a good bounce. We don't have any turf fields in our future, but if we do, we're going to be prepared. But yeah, it's been move your cheese spring here, and just trying to get going in the right mindset along with the weather has been challenging for the Cavaliers. Luckily, we have some returning players that I think the game will just come a little bit easier to them.
I gotta say, man, I don't know how you do infield in a parking lot. That's gotta be brutal.
It is. To know where the cut is, to tell them to come up on the grass, it's just not there. And they didn't want me to paint too many lines. I know I'm an art teacher. I'm pretty artistic. I could make it look pretty nice, but they still didn't want me to overspray too much. So I don't really have foul poles. They just kind of meet up to light poles, which that is a whole nother factor on a infield fly. You're having to dodge a foul pole, let alone another player. The pole won't call it, so you got to make sure you're looking. It's probably dangerous, probably is, but awareness is something we could always work on. Awareness on the field, but yeah, it's been a trip. I mean, I've had people. We're practicing, and we were told to leave an alley open where cars could go through behind us.
Yeah.
And we've had that happen before. It's almost like playing stickball on the road, car, everybody's yelling car. But we stop for a second and then get back to it. It's crazy, but we're going to have a really nice facility when this is all said and done. And it's kind of still under construction. That's just another hurdle to get over. And, practicing with the right dimensions is probably the most important thing.
Yeah.
And when we can work on cutoffs and we can work on covering a base and we can throw it 90 feet to 127 feet, we're still doing that. We're still playing the game by the parameters of the distances, which makes it, more lifelike and realistic. It's just, once we get on that, some unforgiving, dirt infields, we'll see. But, these, like I said, we have players that have played. This is probably one of the years I can say that. It's kind of sad that we do have some momentum going and then, something like this happens. But it is what it is. You got to keep going forward. The staff and some of the other coaches laugh at me. They call us the Asphalt Warriors or the Asphalt Nine. We're all these names that we're coming up with. We had a little fundraiser the other day and at the Culver Cove, and it's a little trivia night, and a lot of people came, and I thought that's the perfect time to pull up on the big board exactly what we're doing. So I pulled up an overlaid picture of how I figured out that's probably the best place to practice, and I showed it to all the 27 trivia teams that were there, 8 people on each team. So anybody that was interested in Culver baseball got a good understanding of what our boys are doing this year to prepare. And memories, that's what it's all about, and this will definitely be a memorable experience.
I tell you, got an infielder that's willing to lay out to make a play. That's got to leave an impression
Well,
on you,
I think
too.
that might be the best thing. They know they don't have to do that. They took that little bit of intrigue away, and I haven't had anybody do anything crazy like that, but we did have, not thinking, and this is probably my fault, but
we got down to the last end of batting practice. That's another whole story about batting practice. We just don't want to hit them on the roof of the school. And we've only had one so far, or maybe two. Two have hit the roof, but I've got a custodian on call for that one. He's told to go look for baseballs every morning when he gets into work. But we did have a boy hit the ball, and I said, "We'll just run it out to first." And I didn't think about it, and that bat just went flying, and you just hear tink, 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 tink. The bat hits the asphalt, and it's like, nobody don't do that again. Stop running. I don't know what to do with my bat. Well, carry it with you. You're not going to throw it. Those are expensive. But, happens one time, and then it won't happen again. But it's good stuff. Good stuff. It's all in good humor, and everybody has a really good frame of mind about it. And, yeah, you're going to hear me say it again. It's got to keep going forward. We got big things coming up this week, so yeah, we're trying to stay prepared.
Well, and you make a great point, too. I mean, in 10 or 15 years, it's going to be the talk of the barbecue when everybody gets back together, how we practiced in the parking lot. And
Oh, yeah.
that'll be the thing.
yeah.
That's the thing they're going to remember, which is what it's about anyway, I think.
Yeah, we do team bonding things like frog leg night at the VFW, and some guy has a cookout, and we all do. There's a certain game to be played, little things like that for team bonding. And this year, the team bonding happened in spring, when you're trying to get them all to come together. So yeah, good stuff.
Well, let's
Good
talk.
stuff.
Let's talk about you guys. You're led by a couple of seniors who've been around a little bit, and I'm sure you're expecting good things from
I
them.
can't say enough about Jonas and Caleb McEwen and what they've done. How they prepared. I will say their whole lives, because they came from Westville, and their family. It just is all baseball has been a big part of their lives, and they've just been preparing for this year, and that's another part of the kick in the pants. We thought we'd get a nice field for these boys as seniors. They moved here in middle school, so they've been ours for all their formative, sport years, and they play every sport. They two great kids. They're 1 and 2 in their class. Valedictorian and salutatorian. Both have bright futures. Going to IU, doing a lot of good stuff. The baseball journey's over. They're not going to be playing for the Diamond Spiders this summer and doing the Legion thing. So this is going to be their last go around, and it's refreshing in one point, but I'm sure it's sad for the family. And Matt and Jessica do a great job. They have a big family and very supportive. Always come to games. We're going to miss them next year, just for team dinners and stuff like that. But these are two high quality kids who pitch and play our most important positions: shortstop, center field, first base. Jonas will catch. I mean, they can just do everything, and good teams have those players, and we want to be a good team this year. Those guys are our two seniors. We got two returning juniors. Hunter Albert, probably one of the most underrated hitters in our area. He just has a knack for hitting, and he loves to do it. Plays first base. He's got a lot better defensively, and he'll be a leader. Drake Zorich led on the football field and has wrestled and played basketball, things out of his comfort zone, and he'll be a big help to us. Our catcher, Cale Bushman's a sophomore. Nick Scouton's another sophomore that's returning, and Owen Tanner, the third sophomore that will return to the lineup. And these are all kids that, a lot of good innings last year. Yeah. So it's hard to, in Culver, Mike Elliott, who used to coach when I first took over 2014, and he was telling me, you have all these ideas you want to do in the game of baseball, but because of who we have coming out and what we have returning and, our 4 townships, blah, 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 he said, it's going to be like a chess match. You're going to have to move your pieces to succeed. It's not going to be like, here's what you do, and this is what's on paper. This is how you do it. And you're going to have to be creative. And I've lived by that. All my years of coaching here at Culver, I've scoured the hallways to find athletic kids, and I've had some diamonds in the rough, some kids that have come out and done some good things for me in the past. But this year, having said that, knock on wood, I had a team a couple years the same way, and I told the radio, hey, this should be a great year because we got returning players. Well, this year we do. We have everybody that will be in a position has played a lot of baseball. Everybody that's an upperclassman will be good. They'll know their positions, and we won't have to reteach it. It's almost like the whole adage of remember the Titans when they took them off to that place and they did all this team bonding stuff and they had to bring these two schools together. We have to do that in Culver Sports every year. It's not like you just build off the year before because new pieces come in, old pieces left. I mean, that's high school sports, but it's
Right.
just a little bit different when you're Culver, Argus, OD, those real small schools where you're just, trying to drum up people to come out. And this year we have kids coming out, and I'm very excited about the newcomers. The boy that came back to our school, Mitch Ramsky, I think he was at Plymouth last year. He's coming back, and he looks really good. Freshman Matthew Bloomquist, Reese Carter, Zach Zahner, and Dustin Sullivan are all going to be great additions that are ready to roll out. These freshmen have experience. They played for our summer team last year, and we've had a middle school program for the past 2 or 3 years that has really helped out our varsity program with just kids coming ready to go. And that's a good thing to have. And these freshmen, we're going to count on them. They're going to be starting and playing big innings. And two of them will pitch for us and give us a little bit of depth. So it's exciting to think about, and having 12, 13 kids that can play. It's a whole new problem of, when Jonas pitches, who's going to play short? When
Yeah.
Caleb pitches, who's going to play center field? When Hunter pitches, who's going to play first base? And these freshmen, I think, can come in and just keep the ship going and make it a little bit easier. From in the past, I've had to put people in those positions that I just would tell them, I'm sorry, I'm put you in a position. Usually a coach will try to give you the best chance to succeed and give you enough to go out there and do it. And sometimes, it's just not possible. These kids gave me everything they had. I appreciate it. But this year, little competition will go a long way. And that's why I told them all. I told my sophomores and juniors, I said, these freshmen are going to push you, and that's what you want. You want that competition. And, some schools, freshmen and sophomores, just go to the JV team. Well, this year we may have a JV. We have 21 players, but we have no field. So
Well, yeah.
as far as having a JV, team, we can't do it. We're going to be on the road for a little bit here. And so at least the end of this month, we're going to try to play Caston at home. But we'll see. All this rain is going to help. A big log tree snapped in half and fell down in my backyard. I don't like that part about it, but that, torrential flood is going to help our roots just connect to our field. So I'm sitting there, cutting up wood and throwing it back by my tree. And the thing about hit my house, had to call NIPSCO in, and NIPSCO comes in at 8:00 and they said, hey, we can't hook it up to your house. You're going to have to hire a contractor. And he goes, and by the way, we may go on strike at midnight. So it's like, holy crap. So here I am thinking about how to just get my house back in order. And we had a couple practices last week, and it was spring break and yada, yada, yada. I could go on forever. But, yeah, I'll try to stick to the script here. Sorry about that. Now the Plymouth Valley knows my woes in my backyard. If you want free wood, come and get it.
There you
I
go.
set it up.
You got some firewood.
Free pine. Come get it.
Let's,
321 South. Sorry about that.
let's talk about your schedule a little bit, too. I mean, it might not be as difficult as getting that log cut up, but you got a tough conference.
Our schedule is going to start out brutal. We had to move. We're supposed to play Pioneer home and away this week. In order to be prepared for Friday, because we moved the Thursday home game to May, but we picked up a scrimmage against the Academy. That'll be Tuesday night at 5:00. Academy was gracious enough they haven't played yet. We haven't played yet. The window of competition is already open, but baseball is different than other sports.
Right.
So we can still run a little faux scrimmage Tuesday at 5:00 at the Culver Military Academy field. And we're going to run it a little bit loosely just to give us an experience on a true field, which, I mean, we know how to play on it, but it'd be nice to go through the infield, outfield, and really give some of these freshmen a true look. So we'll have opener at Pioneer Friday the 9th. I think that's the date. And then after that, we play Tri-Township there. We'll play Winnemac, 2 games coming up. I mean, 3 conference games in the first 4 games of the season. We got to be prepared to go.
Right.
And then we'll be looking at somewhere around the 21st or something. Caston could be our first home game. So we'll go Pioneer, Winnemac, Caston. And in, HNAC talk or traditions, Pioneer's always pretty good.
Yeah.
Winnemac's always going to give you their best shot. And Caston's been one of the best teams for the past I don't know how many years Blake's been there, but they're always a good fight. And we have all that before we get into, some other conference teams where we know we can compete. But that's the first month coming off of practicing on the asphalt. So it's going to be a little dangerous coming up here, but we'll see what we're worth. It is about winning conference. It is about doing that. It's about representing and playing good baseball. But I tell them every year, we want to be ready to go by the time of the tourney. So, I mean, we're going to give everybody our best shot, and we'll see where it falls. But you look at I won't even say our upcoming schedule, just our conference. Triton just beat Northwood the other night.
Yeah.
They're, 7th or 8th in single A baseball. And the Binghamton boy, healthy. It's a little scary. And then you got North Judson, who
Yeah.
had some athletes last year. You have Casting, who always competes. North Miami was the best in our conference last year, and they're not losing anything. It's brutal. Our conference is brutal, and we're battle tested, having going through the whole schedule there. But yeah, that's what's upcoming, and we're going to give everybody our best shot, and we have some experience. So I'm hoping some of the things that I would worry about in the past are not worries, like 7, 8, 9 making contact,
Yeah.
or the heart of the order, getting people on, and not taking care of responsibilities of driving them in. I mean, that stuff. This is another year built on. So we came on at the very end of last year and gave ourselves a good chance there in sectional. And once again, Triton was really good. South Central's in that sectional. They're always really good.
Yeah.
Lot of competitive games on our schedule. It's such a blink of the eye season too.
Yeah.
And you start, and next thing you know, you're preparing for sectional. And now with this whole field thing, it's just kind of fast forwarding everything else. So yeah, crazy.
Well, man, I want to thank you for taking the time to talk to us today. Good luck to you as the season goes on. I guess my last question is, how did you become a Sox fan?
Oh man, it's my dad's dad. It's truly punishment by just association of family, and it is punishment. My son just really got into it. We're going up today. He drove to Milwaukee to watch the first game and sat through that. What was it, 14-2 bashing on opening day, and we both call each other. We listened to that last Milwaukee game up 8 runs, and just like a couple of years ago when we'd go on 21 game losing streaks, it just the pit of my stomach just feels sick. And now they go down to Florida, lose 2 more. We love to go. We love the atmosphere. We love Sox Park. I know it doesn't pull out as one of the tops in the league. I just don't think people go there and really experience it.
Yeah.
But it's always great to be in the park. It's always great to walk through that tunnel out to your seat and just have the park open up and
Yeah.
see the big scoreboard and watch the people running around and doing batting practice or fielding practice and stretching. It's a great time. And today the weather will be better. So, yeah, punishment. The Cubs, they're not much. I've always told any Cub fan, I said, the worst thing you could do is win in 2016 because now you're not the lovable losers. You're expected to win. So enjoy that punishment. But, yeah.
Well, man,
Then somebody asked me the other day, can you root for the Cubs? And I said, I root for the White Sox and anybody who plays the Cubs. But I have a lot of friends who are Cub fans, and I wish them well. So that's my 2 cents.
have a good time up there today. Good luck to you this season. I'm sure we're going to run into each other a time or two before the year's over.
Yes, I always love talking to anybody that promotes high school sports, especially our Cavaliers. So I really appreciate you giving me time to speak on some things. Thank you, Rusty.
That's Shane Lowry, the head baseball coach at Culver, and we'll be right back. And now it's time to announce this week's Tony the Boss Ross Athlete of the Week. It's given in honor of our comrade and fellow broadcaster here at Max 98.3, Tony Ross, who died suddenly a year ago, long before his time, and left behind him a legacy that'll never be matched, dedication to his craft, the work ethic, of course, but the devotion he had for the athletes and coaches in the area will never be matched. It's that legacy that we try to honor every week with this award. We'll let you know who this week's winner is after a word from Johnson Danielson.
Johnson Danielson Funeral Home has proudly served the Plymouth community since 1879. Today, our dedicated team continues the tradition of compassionate care supporting families throughout Marshall County. Whether you're planning ahead or honoring a loved one, Johnson Danielson offers a range of personalized options from burial and cremation packages to flexible pre-planning solutions and helpful planning checklists. This is Jamie Beckwith. Our experienced and caring staff are available for you 24 hours a day, ready to guide you every step of the way. Simply call 574-936-2829. To learn more about our services, visit johnson-danielson.com. Johnson Danielson Funeral Home, service beyond the expectation.
This week's winner is Triton baseball player Braxton Kaufman. Had a really nice opening day for the Trojans as they took a 5-4 road win at Northwood. He was the winning pitcher, went 4 innings, struck out 4, walked just 1, and gave up 2 runs. Also had a 2-for-3 day at the plate in support of his first win of the season. So Braxton Kaufman, Triton Trojans baseball, is this week's Tony the Boss Ross Athlete of the Week. He'll receive a certificate, a history of the award, a T-shirt commemorating this achievement, and will also be a future guest right here on the Saturday Morning Coaches Show. Braxton will be eligible for our Tony the Boss Ross Max 98.3 Athlete of the Year Award. Comes up later this spring. That carries with it a plaque and a college scholarship. Compliments of Max 98.3 and Johnson Danielson Funeral Home. It's the Tony the Boss Ross Max 98.3 Athlete of the Week, brought to you by Johnson Danielson Funeral Home of Plymouth.